called it a shit show, which is Earth for bad, I'm told.
No, it's a science problem.
Because we're the Federation. It's what we do.
Hello, good evening. It is Thursday, November 18th, 2021, and we just finished watching the premiere of Season 4 of Star Trek Discovery, titled Kobayashi Maru. I'm Dave Mader here on Live Long and Podcast, streaming live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch, giving you Star Trek TV and movie reviews. We got a terrific panel to break this down. We got the crew back from last season. We got Woodward with us. Hey, Adam.
Hey, guys.
We got Michael Chan.
Hey.
Hey. And Jean-Luc Picardios. I like the shirt.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, and then we got Ashley Millard with us tonight as well.
Woo!
Woo! And so we're all here, and we're going to be breaking this down as the premiere. I guess it just would have finished airing a few moments ago on CTV Sci-Fi Channel, or you might have watched it on Paramount Plus in the States.
It's still on. It's till 10. It's till 10:15.
Is it till 10:15?
Yeah.
Really?
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, I mean, I knew that because I watched it legally,
We will not
of course.
spoil the last 15 minutes.
No, we will keep this only about only the first 45.
Yeah.
Until we're 45 minutes into this show. Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
It's Starfleet. It's what we do.
That's what we do.
That's what we do.
What we do. Even if you shoot at us, even if you're butterfly people, it's okay. We're not.
Oh, they're not butterfly people, though.
Were they Mothmen?
No, that was the quote she said. They're not butterfly people.
They're not butterfly people. There's something else.
I think they're cool.
Yeah, they were very, very interesting looking. Actually, I have a shot of them here. Let's just have a quick look. There they are. They're scary looking. As this episode, so we had all like the previously on, and they set up a few things in the previously on, but the first scene we get is Michael Burnham and Book. They travel down in his shuttle ship, the one with the programmable matter that transforms, and they go down to meet with these people. I think they're called the Ashai. I think that's what if I recall correctly, I think they're referred to, but Book refers to them as the butterfly people. And they were quite disagreeable. I have to say they were not. Michael Burnham is here on a diplomatic mission, and I also have to mention that Michael Burnham wearing many different new versions of the Starfleet uniform.
Holy cow! In the first 5 minutes, she was in 3 uniforms.
Yeah, so many uniforms.
So many different uniforms, and I love the uniforms, guys.
And I even said that to Kevin. I'm like, I can't wait to talk to Dave about all the uniforms.
Yeah, I was waiting for that too, Dave. So we have to spend some time.
Yeah, no, it's big. Yeah, there it is.
I love that version, by the way.
Yeah, so this is like a leather jacket, away team mission kind of jacket. Book, continues. He's not officially a member of the crew. He's not in, like, Adira is now, as we see later in the episode, is fully become a member of the crew, wearing the uniform as an ensign. Book is still kind of a free agent, but seems to be, often on board, and they go on this mission together because she was hoping to use his empathy skills.
The Force.
The Force, as he has it. He's like, I can't just do it whenever you want me to. So I don't know how many away missions she will be taking him on, but I'm glad. I thought that this was a pretty good scene to start it off. It reminded me a lot, actually, of the beginning of Star Trek Into Darkness, where it's that one has like Kirk and McCoy, is played by Chris Pine, and Carl Urban running away from like the first contact situation through the woods. This not quite the same, but they eventually end up running through the woods away from these people who, through a cultural misunderstanding, if you will. Adam, let's go to you first. What did you think? Well, overall, do you like the episode tonight? And secondly, how was this opening, cold open?
I find that there's just so much coming at you. Like, the opening scene was really good, really intense. Quite enjoyed it, but I want to watch the episode again because I need to see it again. I was just bombarded by all sides, it felt like. But again, the action was great, looked amazing. The uniforms, I really liked them. They all looked really great.
Yeah.
So
Michael, do you feel the same? Were you feeling good about tonight's episode?
The first thing I thought was something I said about last season, which was when the artists and the editors and all of them get to work from home. It seems like, because last season
that's
the
right.
CG was insane compared to seasons 1 and 2, and I was wondering if they would be able to keep it up, especially now that our world is slowly going back to, some semblance of normal, whatever that may be. But no, like, holy crap, they kept it up. And like, I felt like the very, very opening, when they did the whole thing where they kind of flew the camera down to the planet, just reminded me a little bit of Star Wars. Then when you hit the planet, there's like a bit of Avatar, not Airbender, like Avatar with the glowy plants and all that,
the blue cats,
and then the Ashai, the butterfly people,
yeah,
with in their normal non-butterfly form, reminded me of the what's the name of that alien movie? The one that was like the prequel to Aliens.
Covenant.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
No, the one before that. Prometheus. Thank you. It looked like the tall people.
Yeah. Well, like just
engineers.
Yeah, just those contact lenses they had alone.
Yeah. But like, I liked it. I liked all these different little sci-fi. I don't know if they're supposed to be nods. I felt like it's a bunch of fanboy, like sci-fi fanboys and fangirls going, let's just put a bunch of stuff together and like make it cool. And I loved it. I was living it.
Yeah. Okay. Ashley,
I
agree?
loved the episode. I loved that it was all over the place. I find it easier to watch stuff that's all over the place. If it's too boring, I lose interest. I did watch the episode twice today, so I also got to pick up on a lot of little things in the background because I had already watched sort of the story and started picking out stuff in the back, and not just nods to other sci-fi franchises, but there's a lot of nods to the previous series, Star Trek series through this. There's a lot of little background stuff and names and stuff.
So, guys, now did I understand like a year has gone by?
5 months, 5 or 6 months.
Yeah.
Okay, so they've just been going around, reintroducing dilithium to different cultures.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Trying to build the Federation back up.
Yeah, totally understood that part. Just trying to figure the timelines out.
Yeah. So like a couple times they I don't know what 5 months seems kind of odd to me. Other than 6 seems like half a year But anyway, that's what they went with. They went with 5 months, and it is what it is. And so
unless it was 5 months since Saru went back to Kavanar, at which point it could be maybe 6 or 7 months.
Maybe, yeah. Like
5 months was mentioned later, right?
A couple times, a couple of different scenes. Yeah, so I guess it's 5. So we're still in 3189, I guess would be the year. When we left, at the end of season 3, Captain Burnham, she was the newly appointed Captain Burnham. Saru went off to Kaminar with Sukal, and we got let's fly. And then she'll throw it on here. But yeah, so she's been going around giving dilithium to all these different races, and this is one such example. The butterfly people she mentions, or the Ashai, that they were not on such good terms with the Federation prior to the burn, and this seems to be coming up a lot. Like the Federation leading up to the burn was not. I don't know, like what. One hand you hear they were stronger than ever. On the other hand, you hear they were not. They were on kind of strained terms with a lot of different other powers, and obviously the Vulcans eventually left the Federation, and there was a fall. Even Earth left the Federation after the burn. So there was a bit of some issues, and it seems like they're slowly trying to like get the gang back together. They said the Federation even in these 5 months went from 30-something members to 50-something members.
59.
Yeah, 59. So almost doubled. In a pretty short time. They're mining the dilithium. They're handing it out. But people are still suspicious. No strings attached. you know, for the low price, you know. And I thought that there was some good banter here with the aliens, and you know, they were just like, we heard you brought along another life form.
That was good.
Yeah.
That whole thing was just hilarious.
He's like, yeah, we get
Give her cat treats.
you give her cat treats. So they're like, well, what is it? And they're like, well, it's a small carnivorous thing. You brought a carnivore to our planet. You know, I guess they're not too keen on carnivores. They're very quickly offended, these butterfly people. Maybe especially if you call them butterfly people. You know, and then they say, well, as they like to say about Grudge the cat, she's a queen.
She's a queen.
Mm-hmm. And they said, you a monarch? You have imprisoned a monarch on our world. And they go here. You see them in their full butterfly kill mode with the This was pretty fun. I thought this
is the DND just right there.
This felt so Marvel to me.
Oh yeah, you're right. You're right. Also Marvel.
Yeah. I liked it. It was like, what the heck?
It's just so cool.
It's not something you expect to see in Star Trek.
No.
Yeah, it was right.
But, because of Prodigy.
I haven't watched that yet.
Yeah, like I can see where you're going with that, but it was just like kind of like the whole banter, like a species not liking the Federation, sure, but like just the way that they respond here by getting, because we saw the butterflies even as they were coming down, the camera was coming down, and we saw that they were kind of fluttering on the trees, this planet that was kind of snowy and whatever, and then they immediately start going after them, and you know, there's a
Oh, I was going to say, anybody giggled at the fact that they took exception to Grudge being a monarch and they're butterfly monarch.
That's what I was trying to get the connection there. Yes, I totally.
Yeah.
I was snickering. I was like, butterfly people.
Because the guy that she's speaking to, the one with all the lines, he's called Emperor. He was like the emperor of this species. Yeah. But to start off, they're separated by this big cliff or this precipice or whatever between them, and you know, he's actively shooting at them. But as they're on this chase, like they hop into sort of a smaller shuttle. It's not like Book's bigger ship. It's like a smaller derivative of it, and you know, she's going like, oh well, why haven't they hit us yet? And they should have hit us at this range, and that leads to that she realizes that there's something wrong. They should be able to shoot us if they're this close. She calls up to the ship. We see Lieutenant Commander Reese. He's been promoted have several of the bridge crew. We see that, you know, they get called upon to help Captain Burnham on this mission as she's fleeing the butterfly people shooting at her. They're like, Captain, you're moving around really quickly. Do you want us to do something?
I have to ask you guys, do you find that like she was just having fun during this whole scene like this?
Yes.
Yeah. And I really found a connection to the the Chris Pine Kirk.
Yes.
I see what you mean. Yes.
Yeah, you know, more than like she's definitely coming more alive in this season so far. Like, you know, just that one little scene you saw it.
Yeah, like I think that Burnham, like you never really feel like they're in that much of danger. There's kind of some tongue in cheek to this, like, you know, I guess like imagine she's just like, you know, like having this great like kind of Indiana Jones style adventure fight,
totally,
and then Book just gets shot.
She's still being shot at and everything, but she never feels like she's going to be hit.
No, yeah, she's got plot armor. She's the lead of the show, so we're not too worried. And he's the main character too. So, so she's just like, no, we're on a diplomatic mission. We can't fire back, and we can handle this. Like she's kind of this is not too bad for her. This is like a kind of a routine day for Captain Burnham, I think. And you know, she calls upon Tilly and Adira and Stamets, the science team, I guess, to like help solve this, because they're like, well, do you want us to send security guards down, or do you want us to intervene or beam up? And she's like, no, this is a science problem.
No, it's a science problem.
Get the blue shirts. You know, we also, you know, Tilly was shown tonight. We knew she had been moved over to the blue side. She previously in the old uniform scheme, like the season 1 and 2 uniform scheme, she had worn the bronze of the operations division. So she has been actually transferred over here into the science division. Now a lieutenant as well, as everyone got promoted. Yeah, you get promoted and you get promoted. It was like Oprah. But yes, well deserved. Now Adira is the lowest ranked, and but much like Wesley Crusher, Adira gets thrown in, gets the commission, but
that scene, the scene that introduced Adira to and Stamets together for this season was great.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, like I agree. Like it was just kind of like this. Okay, we're gonna show the crew working together. Saru's not there, but otherwise it's like the rest. The regulars of Discovery. Maybe Culber not really featured too much in this opening sequence, but
we learned some fun facts about birds.
We learned some fun facts about birds. Did you know they have things in their bones? I didn't.
I knew that.
Yeah, I gotta tell you something. Okay, something about these uniforms. Okay, I got to tell you something. I really like them. But I have a nitpick. Okay, Burnham's uniform, right, on this little collar epaulette that they wear, right? We see like the little dots to indicate the rank, but on the lower junior officers' uniforms, they have nothing. It's just this. It's just blank, and then it's got the 2 chevrons or whatever, but the rank is only on the communicator. I'm against this. I'm just going to go out and say it. Like if you're going to have the epaulette, throw the insignia on there. Like the rank. I don't think it's an oversight. I think I don't know what they're going for here, but cut it out and fix it up. Like smart enough. That's all I got to say. Anyway, that's my nitpick. Moving on.
Doesn't Burnham have shoulder things?
Burnham also has shoulder things, and so it's on her collar, it's on her shoulder things, and it's on her communicator.
Well, you got to make sure the captain is identified.
Yeah.
The captain's the only one that matters, but
the captain has to be extra decorated.
No, I'm just saying, like it's pretty obvious she's the captain.
Yeah, but going back to like some military doctrine is that you don't show who the commanding officer is.
Yeah. Well, you see here with Lieutenant Commander Reese, as he's known now.
He has 2 lines on his collar too.
No, yeah, but there should be some pips. There should be like some pips above them. Like you only see it on Burnham's red uniform.
Oh,
right?
Okay.
But you see it on Reese's like communicator. He's got the 2 pips and the hollow pip on his communicator itself. But I love these new uniforms. They are the best uniforms Discovery has had in their 4 years, and they've changed their uniforms every year.
Hey, Dave, do you have the uniform she was wearing when she was addressing the cadets?
The dress uniform.
Yes, I can.
Yeah, I want to see her ones and where the pips are and all that.
Well, okay, like her dress uniform doesn't have it, but I'll show it here. This is the dress uniform. That
wears. Okay, never mind. Yeah.
And this is like, it's kind of a darker maroon almost. It doesn't have much insignia at all, actually, or ranks. It's very subtle. And the other officers wear a completely different variant of this. It doesn't look anything like the captains. The admirals have a completely different look to them as well. So I don't know. It's a little bit all over the place, if you ask me. But if I can find just here, I'll just find the Burnham's here. Just give me a moment. Yeah. So here, if you take a look here at Burnham's uniform, it's got it on. If you look at her collar, it's got
see the 4 pips. Yeah,
you see the 4 pips. You look at these shoulder things, and only the captain has these epaulettes on the shoulders. It's also on there. Plus, it's on the communicator, which is all fine. I like this. I think actually I would have this same thing for the other officers, like
the shoulders as well.
Sure, like or not, but at least use the collar, because all of the others are wearing the collar, and I'm like, that way when you have a close up of their face, you know exactly what rank they are.
You know what rank they are.
Yeah. You only know their rank now. You have to see their whole shoulders.
You have to zoom in on their communicators.
You got to zoom in on that communicator. It's a rounded communicator. It's more reflective. It's fine. it's
Okay,
better
so
than-
the one uniform I don't remember seeing well is the Admirals. Do you have picture of that?
Yeah, so yeah, he's wearing a new variant of his as well. We also have like the
He was
Federation.
just in gray last season, just this sort of boring gray uniform.
Yeah, there's also the cadet uniform we had. Yeah, his
They look
uniform
good.
was very boring. I thought. Let me just see. I got to. Here's a shot. Here's just a shot quickly of the cadet uniform, which is like, what's this metal thing coming down from like the center? Like what's that about?
I don't know. It reminded me just a tiny bit of Fallout. The Fallout suits.
The video game Fallout. I'm not as
Yeah.
familiar, so I don't know if anyone.
They're
else
vault
is.
suits. I don't know. That's what when I saw them, I was like, "Woo, a bunch of vault people."
Yeah, like it was just. I'm glad they had a cadet uniform. Oh, and here's even another uniform. This was the dress uniform of the other officers that, as I mentioned.
That looks sharp. I like
Yeah,
that.
I love that one.
That looks really good. But like I don't like always when the captain's uniform is just so different than everybody else's uniform. And let me just see if I can find the Admiral quickly, as you were saying. Like his uniform is kind of the same. It's got a little bit. It's got more shoulder. Here's one shot of it. You know, it's got a little bit more going on in the collar, more stars and different things like that.
Still very drab, like
just gray and drab and kind of like no color whatsoever, no red, no. I actually think it's I like it even less than the uniform he had on last season.
I don't like when he smiles. I like them more.
Yeah, I like when he's grumbly and everything else.
I'm assuming the crew on HQ would be a little different from, like, I don't know, ship crew.
Yeah, and we also saw like that the station personnel, because later on when they have to rescue the commander of that station, he's wearing kind of what they were wearing at the end of season 3.
Yes.
Right. Kind of a variant of that, but different, kind of like less of a here's one of him, as you can see.
There you go, yeah.
He's wearing like a reverse where the gray is the dominant color, and then the division color is along the stripe along the side, which was kind of the season 3 variant. And you can see the Admiral's uniform behind there. He has, where, as we were saying, pretty drab, kind of blends into the background.
This goes back to like the TNG Deep Space Nine era, where the people on the ship are wearing different uniforms than the people on the station.
Yes.
Right. And which is what most militaries do. Even if you look at the U.S. military, they have they have fatigues, they have dress uniforms, they got kind of ones they would wear more in an office setting. Like it depends. Every service has various functions, and so you can kind of I like when they mix that up versus no, this is the one uniform we wear every day of every year for every situation, which is.
Or they started watching our show and realized this Dave guy really likes his uniform. So
this guy is paying attention.
Throw him a bone and just make a million uniforms.
Yeah.
So and they have different away. They wear different things when they do away missions, because Adira and Tilly were wearing something different, as was Burnham. So I feel like that's me, because I said in TED Treks I wanted to see that in Strange New Worlds, and they brought it into Discovery.
You're absolutely right. Like I think that's
right.
they're listening to us. They're listening to our podcast, and they're acting upon them.
I wanted this sparkly away jacket back.
You did say that like 3 weeks ago. I remember.
Yeah.
They're like, there you go, sparkly away jacket. It's
the first thing, because I thought, okay, maybe she's just wearing something different. But then when they went to this, when Tilly and Adira were on the station and they were wearing an away outfit, I was like, oh, they have different away outfits. This is all me.
They're always changing this crew. They must be changing all the time.
This show changes the uniform like nobody else I've ever seen.
So I'm going to try to manifest them having an episode where they do cardio.
Picardio?
Yeah, that's right. Picardio.
I'm sorry. I was just trying to see if I can find that, because what I really liked about that was that Adira and Tilly, they transport away and they're just wearing their duty uniforms, right? And then they're automatically in their away missions when they beamed over. They didn't have to change their clothes. That's the future, Adam. That's what they're heading to.
I need that in my life right now.
That'd be great. You just pick out your outfit, and you don't have to go through like the exercise of pulling the
You
various
just have to
pieces
teleport
on.
into it.
Yes.
You mean like when Bruce Wayne slides down a pole and becomes Batman?
Yes, or
Yeah.
That's what I
Iron Man, or Iron.
Oh
Man.
yeah.
Yeah. Here's that shot, Ashley, of Tilly and sort of that. It's kind of like almost looks like a battle armor. It's like kind of this vest that seems to kind of go over their normal uniform or something like that.
Well, is this the same thing that Burnham was wearing when she was in the little EV?
Yeah, I think it is actually.
And it
looks like,
turns into a spacesuit if they
right.
end up.
The helmet
Yeah.
came over once like it was breached and saved her from dying, which was fortunate. Yeah, so like lots going on because this is the age now, the 31st century of programmable matter. That's kind of what they're, where it's kind of like they're doing more like this nanite, like Marvel-esque kind of technology, kind of like similar to Black Panther and what Iron Man have in that universe, which is what they've never really done that really in Star Trek before. So they're saying, well, that's in the distant future, and that's kind of what's been the fun thing about Discovery is that we're in completely uncharted territory here. Like this is the furthest ahead in like the timeline, Star Trek timeline. Versus like when we're watching shows like Lower Decks or Prodigy, which are set many, many centuries before this. We're kind of just what are they going to do next? It's instead of like them sort of having to rehash what's sort of already been established, which I'm glad for them.
Sorry, one more thing.
Yeah,
we also had the president, and she had a uniform.
She had a uniform.
Yes.
She had an outfit too. Okay, and let's talk about this new president character. Is she a Denoblean, Adam? Is that what she is?
She could be.
Isn't that Cardassian and something else mixed?
Maybe. Like I was looking at her, I was like, well, maybe she's part Cardassian, part Bajoran.
I don't think she's got enough of the high brows to be Denoblean.
But she has the ridges of a Bajoran.
Yeah, but not the. Anyway, yeah.
Like I wonder if she has like a Cardassian parent, a Bajoran parent, or a Cardassian grandparent, a Bajoran grandparent, and a couple. Like if her
and maybe a few humans in there.
Yeah, somewhere? Like maybe one of her parents was human and one of her parents was half Cardassian, half Bajoran.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Right,
because
it's a mixed
I feel
alien.
like if one of her parents was Cardassian, the ridges would be even more pronounced because they're kind of like set into her skin.
Right,
Yeah.
and then her skin tone is pretty human.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it's very plausible she is not. I thought like when I looked at her, I was like Denoblean, I guess, but you're right. Like the thing in the center of her forehead isn't very Denoblean. It's very plausible that in the 31st century someone would have. Well, we already knew in the 24th centuries and 23rd centuries people were of mixed heritages, different species. Vulcans, Romulans, Klingons were interbreeding with each other. It's very, she could be a bunch of different species in her lineage.
Mhm.
So, but her character's name is Lara Rilek. And she is the new Federation president. I don't really remember the Federation president we had in season 3 anymore. I know there was one.
I don't think they ever showed them, right?
I think they did. I think she was,
Really?
but we were mostly dealing with the admiral, with Charles Vance. He was kind of like, I think the president was kind of in a couple scenes, and we get this new character who I definitely think is going to be significant to this season. Ashley, is this Lara Rilek friend or foe to the Discovery?
I feel like they're setting her up to make us think that she's a foe, but she won't be.
Yeah. Do Michael and Adam, would you agree? Like, do you think what was your sort of vibe on her in this episode?
I don't. I think that she might not trust Michael Burnham, and want some eyes on her. Right? I mean, it's weird that the president would want to go on an away mission. That to me is just strange.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like okay, it's like the head of state. Currently, with the Federation has 59 members. We said, and she doesn't even bring a bodyguard with her, or like Secret Service or anything like that.
Yeah.
Well, you go.
Some of the stuff that she said to Burnham, or just in general, reminded me a lot of the Cardassians on Deep Space Nine too. Like she had a little bit of that mystery that Dukat and Garrick have, where you can tell they're not quite telling you the whole truth. you ask them a question and they kind of evade the answer. She reminded me a lot of that.
It could be like a test to see if she can, okay, you've done well, you're going to go on the next mission or something that they've got brewing.
Mhm.
Yeah, I was sort of getting like that she's got some kind of fascination with Burnham, and the crew. This whole because first we kind of skipped over. There was one scene where it was Burnham talking to Book about I'm going back to my home planet for basically my nephew's bar mitzvah or whatever it was, his ceremony, and before his planet's going to get blown up later in the episode, but we need to get to that. But that he's like, I'm going to go over here, and he can tell. He kind of calls her out. She's like, you don't like this president. You don't want to do this ceremony with her. And she's like, what? And he's like, yeah, I can tell the vein in your forehead or whatever pops out every time you're angry about this. Or she's like, shut up, get out of here, go do your thing.
That's a cute scene, by the way.
Yeah.
Another thing that I really liked about this episode.
I do like Book.
Well,
I think that
Michael, what do you like what does that fit that relationship?
I just it's little moments that say a lot that I appreciate, and also it was fun,
Yeah.
It was just a fun thing.
I like the comfort they have with each other.
Yeah. I just felt like season 1 and 2 didn't, because even old like TNG and original series, all of them, they had fun times here and there. There was a level of fun and then serious. Discovery never really was capable of that in seasons 1 and 2. Season 3, they started to kind of recapture that, and now here in episode 1 of season 4, I just felt like they had a good mix of being serious and having some fun with what they have.
It's the crew of the Orville.
Well, yeah, Orville is a great show too. I think for a Star Trek show, I think what you have to have it for it to be successful is you have to believe that these characters care about each other and are sort of a team. And I think that Book fits in well. His chemistry with Sonequa Martin Green, I think, is very obvious. I think they tried to really force this Ash Tyler romance on us in the first 2 seasons, and it never really worked. It never really clicked. Did you notice tonight that Sonequa Martin Green's name is in the credits as a producer?
Producer.
Yeah. So that's a bit surprising. We're only in the 4th season, and she's now sort of one of the leaders of this show from a production standpoint. I think it's a good thing. It's interesting. It's kind of unprecedented. You never would have seen Patrick Stewart as having that presence in the Next Generation era, but obviously he does now in Picard, as he's one of the lead creative and production voices there. So yeah, I think if Sonequa Martin Green's I have good chemistry with this Book character, let's keep him around, let's make him more important, I think that's going to continue to play out here. And so, Adam, do you like them, like Book and Burnham? Do you find that
the only thing that in that opening scene that got me is with all her crew, she's down there with him.
Right. It did occur to me too.
But yes, they have excellent chemistry for sure. It works really well.
Yeah. Do you want him to join the crew, or do you like him being sort of this free agent?
Well, it was it's time to either get on or get off, right?
Mm-hmm. Is it a shit show or get off the pot, as the engineers would say?
Yeah.
One of my engineers called it a shit show, which is Earth for bad, I'm told.
I love that line.
I think I would prefer him to stay like a free agent, because I think the show would be more interesting with him not having to follow Starfleet rules.
Well, that gives them a very good out, where they have to follow if they get into Prime Directive again and all that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Right. He could be like the Odo of the show.
That's right.
Yeah.
Now with what happened to his planet, well, yeah.
One more thing, Dave. After we've watched all of the original series over the last year, and how far they've come with the female crew on this, you've got captains, you've got a female president, you've got the helm crew. The helm is both women.
Yeah, Detmer and the other one.
Yeah. So.
Oh, yes.
Wishikan.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And it's like the cast is really like growing on me. Like I really care. I'm so glad. Like, not that I have anything against Michelle Yeoh. I think she's a great actor, but I never loved this Mirror Georgiou, and I'm kind of glad
she got tired. Like she couldn't do anymore. It was perfect that she went away.
Yeah, she had to exit from the show, and she exited in fine style in season 3. But that's kind of what is different this season is that she's not here, and whatnot. And
the bridge crew had more to do with each other. I noticed the banter.
Yeah, more banter, right? They were just like like Detmer and Reese and the rest of them. Like they were just background characters for the first. They were just sort of like these Canadian actors they kind of picked up to play sort of supplementary roles, and they become more and more significant. Like we're starting to kind of know who they are and how they work with Burnham. From a bridge crew standpoint, and the whole scene with. I like it. Like they have like they're a real cohesive unit. They were talking to the president. The president like saying, "Look, now we got Starfleet Academy, guys." Like it seems like after 150 years of pretty tough times after the burn, like things are really starting to like pick up again. It's like a new renaissance. They showed us that they're building brand new ships here in the Archer space dock. They called it, and Adam, you might, as a fan of Star Trek Enterprise, which we will be covering as a podcast, we get the Archer theme.
I like the nods to the past in other shows, and that's fantastic. But
Archer Space Dock.
Do do.
I noticed the music too. I was like, "Wow, great nod!"
Yeah. That's like the new Voyager, right? Like that's kind of what that's meant to be there.
Yeah, I think so. Which they're putting a new drive in. Ooh,
I'm still trying to get used to like the nacelles not being attached to the ship and just floating there, like sort of.
How funny would it be though if they put this new technology into Voyager and then Voyager goes to use it on their first thing and they get lost?
I was thinking that spin off.
Like maybe not in another quadrant, but like
another galaxy.
Just
send them to the Andromeda galaxy with the Keldons. Yeah, with Hanar.
And then they have to make their way back, making friends with planets.
Yeah, and different things. Yeah, that'd be good. So like I think that it's kind of I just like seeing all the new ships, all the new uniforms, all like the new things, the new Federation president, what's happening, and then there's this whole like other story. I also we didn't I'd like to also kind of like acknowledge that we did get quite a bit here with Saru as well in this episode, and sort of like the Kelpian council, I guess the Kaminar Council, because the planet that Saru's from, Kaminar, has also got this other species. I can't remember their name, but they're like the fish people, like the oily fish people that we see sort of in the ocean there, and they're talking about what to do with Su'Kal, because Su'Kal was like the cause of the burn and all this kind of stuff. And they're like, "Whoa!"
This scene scared me right off the bat because Saru said the wrong thing to me.
What did he say?
He said the burn will not happen again. It's science or something like that. So, geez, I don't. When you say stuff, it's like the Titanic won't sink.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they think that's going to come back to bite Saru? You're saying?
Yes.
The science is clear. I believed him, but it scared me just because these like
that was scary too. That room.
Yeah, that room where like you got the fish people. So what happened was, what we learned in the history of Saru's planet was at one point his species was the dominant species, and they used to hunt them. And then they turned the tides, and then because they're like the other sentient species, and they hunted the Kelpians for a while, and that was kind of like the time that Saru had grown up in. And now it seems like 900 years later, they're buds. Both species get along, and they share the planet Kaminar together. And they, and Saru comments as much in sort of this opening scene because he's now honored elder. Like a Jem'Hadar, and he
got like Aquaman Atlantis mixed with Gungans from Star Wars vibes here.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because it's interesting
Yeah.
to see how these two species coexist on this planet. It also kind of reminds me, Adam, a little bit of in Enterprise, where we saw like the Xindi had the different versions of their species, including the aquatic version, who had to interact with the air breathing variants of their species, and yeah, how they were going together here. But Sukal gets quite a bit of screen time too in this whole scene. You know, Sukal, that child who got sad and caused the burn and blew up a lot of warp cores altogether at the same time, and you know, just made times kind of rough for a while. But they're all like, "Hey, listen, it's all good." Did you like? Did you like the scene with you know, Doug Jones and his performance here? And
Michael, I actually am. I liked it. I like Saru. I got a little tired, not tired, but just that was probably the worst scene of the whole episode for me, is when they're away from the action on Discovery.
Yeah, Ashley, do you agree? Did you feel like was there? I think there was two scenes with like Saru, right? Like there's this earlier scene, and then the later scene where he's talking. Sukal's like, "You got to go back to space, Saru. I know you're my space dad, but come on, like you don't belong here. You're bored, man, and I'm fine. I got friends, and the people who don't like me, they'll never like me."
Yeah, the scene was fine. I feel like it was needed to get Saru back on Discovery, which is, I definitely think it's going to happen sooner than later.
Well, we've kind of seen some pictures that they throw out and stuff where he's back in the uniform.
I'm already ready for him to just be back on Discovery.
In what role?
I love Saru, and yeah, just as everyone else is saying, I think this is. I mean, they need to show what he's been doing, right? Like, you can't just.
No, they need. I totally agree with that. I just, out of a strong episode, it was probably my weakest scene. That's all.
Those were weaker. I agree, but I thought about it. I'm like, maybe they just needed that buffer, right? Like, just slow it down between all the other stuff that happened, and it made sense because now you get to see what Saru is doing and what the justification is to go back. Right.
And it is a new era, is it not?
This is a new era, is it not?
Although I do feel like 5 months is a little short time-wise for people to be starting to be okay with Sukal.
Yeah, they're like, this isn't going to make us the most popular planet in the galaxy, we don't think, but. We
cannot curl up like a leaf off a tree.
Do we? Yeah, we need to.
We cannot.
I liked it. I liked a lot of his dialogue. I think Doug Jones was very good.
Do we honor our interconnection, or do we curl inward?
Are we like a leaf that curls inward, or are we like an interconnected network of butterflies or something? That will help people fly around and shoot at Burnham. I don't know. Could be any of those things, but I just liked the set design of Kaminar and all of that. Yeah, and yeah, the Gungan thing, I would definitely say, like, there's definitely some of that, and just different things. Like, the production value wise, I really love it. I love like the different things we're getting in the show, the way that the show looks most of the time, with some exceptions. And this whole other plot, which was I'm sorry, the name of the planet the book's from. I'm trying to just remember. Hold on while I figure that out. But it does get destroyed in this episode. What do you guys think?
Alderaan?
Quajon, right?
Yes. Yes. Not Alderaan.
No, Quajon. So the Quajon, and like we so this was like, they're not biological brothers, right? Like they're like adopted brothers, or they're from like the same Quajon pack, and they were kind of like having his nephew's ceremony here, where he gets the sap from the tree and they mix the blood in, and you say you have to wear this around your neck. And
the book doesn't have one, right? Or doesn't wear his anymore.
So, I don't know. I really liked like just the look of the planet and how it goes here. Did this scene, guys, work for you guys to set up sort of like what happens later on to sort of like remind us of like what Book is losing here because of this destruction. Seemingly what happens here in this episode.
No.
I think it's just he just got his family back, he got his everything back, and then
it's taken away from him.
Yep.
I feel like we still could have gotten the point without this scene. This was my least favorite scene in the episode.
Yeah.
You mean the sap thing?
Yeah.
Was it sappy?
It sure was.
Okay. Yeah, I think that was intentional.
The kid was kind of annoying. Like the whole thing was just too slow and it didn't work for me.
Yeah, everyone else.
I kind of agree with that. It's like it's the same I felt with Saru. It definitely slowed the episode down because there was a lot going on.
I like the Saru stuff more than I like this part of it.
Yeah. Okay, you're right. I'm going to say that this is probably what we can see in the episode. Yeah.
Well, I guess it just gives me backstory on Book, and that's the part I liked about it. But I don't like the brother so much, like or whatever.
Yeah, I think they could have done something else to give him backstory or to show him with his family or whatever. This scene it didn't work.
The only thing I'm still trying to figure out. Okay, so Book talked about it like when we first met him in season 3. He said like, "Oh, I come from a family of poachers, but I chose to become like a wildlife protectionist guy."
Yeah,
which is what this is. Like that's what this group is here. These Qui-Gons, right? Like that's sort of his adopted family. This is not his original family, right? And so, but he talks about like this ceremony where they get the sap. And they give it to the kid and whatever, and they go, well, he goes, well, where's yours? And he goes, well, that's a long story. Are we going to get to know what that story is this season?
I would assume, yeah, because like you say, he was a poacher and all that, and he chose to be this. I mean, it would make sense why he doesn't have a necklace, for example.
Yeah, but if he joined this after that, and then he somehow left this planet, because when we met this brother character last season, didn't he have like issues with Book, or he was like they were had a falling out at some point? I'm trying to remember.
Yeah, that's what happened. It seemed to remember them fighting. Yeah, they were fighting on a planet. I remember that.
Yeah, and so I don't know. Like we later see on, it kind of ends up. They end up meeting up with Discovery, sort of. It almost kind of coincidentally, because Discovery is sent on the mission to save the space station, which I guess is pretty nearby.
It's nearby, yeah.
Somewhat to Book to this Qui-Gon planet, and so maybe we can, we talked about like how Tilly and Adira were kind of put into their way gear right away. But what did you guys like the whole sequence where they go over to the ship? There was also a scene with Adira and Gray where they were talking for briefly, right? Where Adira's like, I'm so glad they made her. I'm an ensign now.
The only one that didn't come back for this episode was Jet Reno.
Yeah, where's Jet?
Yeah,
we'll probably
Tignataro
at some point.
We need her back.
I know. I like her when she's on the show. I think the show's better off without her. Yeah, but we didn't see her.
She's never been on every episode though. She just
she's not. She comes.
No, she just pops up. Like she'll just like she's like, I've been down there for 6 months and I'm here to like cut up stamps.
Really just so Jet.
Yeah.
She comes in, throws a couple lines down, then leaves again. Yeah.
Right. But Adira and Gray talking too, right? Like in this one.
Yeah.
I don't know. Gray is a character I could do without. I don't know if anyone else.
I think that Adira has evolved and got enough confidence to be herself now. Their self. Now, so you're right, Dave. I think I actually forgot about him until he showed up in this episode.
Yeah. Ashley, are you a fan of Gray?
I don't know yet. I'm undecided. Sometimes yes, and sometimes no. So I think it depends on what they're going to do with the character.
Well, what are they going to do with this character? Like, because they were talking about how Gray
to give him a body.
Because that's what they were saying. Like, I'm going to become a real person, right? But
real boy.
That's right.
Because we how Gray is sort of like this, difference in how we understand symbiotes and how the Trill work. And normally these past lives are just memories, but Gray is like a completely full-fledged personality that's separate from the symbiote. It seems like
they have a lot going on. Like, you know, between all of the backstories you want to know about and all of the technology and all of the new characters, they have a lot of stories to tell in the next, you know, whatever episode, 12 episodes we got to watch.
Right. I don't know if Adira needs this Gray character to. I think
That's
Adira.
What I was trying to say is that I think she's evolved enough that she's much better than she was last season, and you know the confidence is there. She wants to go on an away mission, you know.
Right, and so
honestly,
yeah.
I was gonna say I'm pretty sure they're gonna give him a body.
Yeah.
So
and then what do they do with him? And then what do they do with him?
Put him in Starfleet
away missions.
Is he going to play the cello again, or is he going to
send him to Starfleet Academy?
Okay, yeah, like I don't know, yeah, like sure, like I think they can find a way to integrate him into this show in a way that's him, not him talking to them. I think that would probably be my preference because as of right now, it's just kind of a distraction. I'm like, I'd rather just see Adira talk to people that are actually
everything
present.
in episode 1.
Ashley?
I would just rather see more Adira with Stamets and oh my gosh, Culber.
And Culber,
Like,
yeah.
I would rather not have Gray and have Adira more with the two of them.
Agree.
And them like kind of parenting them.
Yeah, and sort of being because, or maybe if they were a group of 4, like if Michael gets his wish and Gray is now like a real corporeal being that's going to sort of interact with the rest of them, maybe that's going to be good, maybe not. Like I think, but it's.
Let me
so many
make a
characters.
prediction. He's Trill, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Then my prediction is Get's body goes back for some kind of diplomatic thingamabobbie.
Right. Okay.
That way he can still be a part of the show, but doesn't have to be here
all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, that might be something. I don't know. Like there's so many science fiction things they could cook up to give Gray a body if they want to give Gray a body. But like it's
in the Prodigy by time jumping. I don't know.
Yeah, or just clone a body and like, we transferred it through the Trill.
Give him an android body.
Give him an android body. There's so many versions.
Just don't give him a shitty android body.
No, only the top of the line, only the newest models. And so the whole but they like Gray only shows up briefly here to say I want to be a real boy and then disappears. And then Adira is kind of like doing the mission with Tilly for the rest of it, like dealing with this commander, this very like moody commander who's like, well, this is my crew and you can't get in my way and whatever. It's the one who was like, it's a shit show.
One of my engineers called it a shit show, which is Earth for bad, I'm told.
Yeah, and he was kind of running a shit show because Burnham and the group show up to save them, but it's like
it's his command. He wants to be in charge.
Yeah, but he's fair enough, but he's not very cooperative with the rescue party, and but anyway, like it's the gravity being upside down, where like everything was flying. Do you guys like that part of it, or do you think that because I guess the ceiling was the floor?
I liked it. It was cool.
I liked it.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
I did enjoy Tilly in these scenes too, because she's later on when they're waiting for the escape pod and everything. Like she gets some confidence and she starts to talk back to him and she stands up to him.
Yeah, that's another great character that's evolved so much since season 2, even
Yep.
Yeah, well, they remember like last season with Osira, who was like, was kind of belittling Tilly when she like took over Discovery and kind of like, and said you would never command. And Tilly kind of says earlier in the episode, oh, I'm a lieutenant now, but I don't know if I really deserve it. And she's like, Burnham's like, is Osiris to get into you for being such a mean girl to you last season? Don't worry about it. It's okay. You're a lieutenant. And yeah, I thought that Tilly plays it well. Like Tilly's like, yeah, well, you called us and we're here to help, so maybe you should get off our backs. And he's like, fair enough. What the whole part where like he was kind of being difficult and like the president had to like talk him down was kind of, I don't know. I was like, why is this president is a very odd president. They came along on this mission kind of just by herself, apparently, without any kind of aides or staff or anybody. Is wearing this big, huge kind of collar, which I don't know if I love. But beyond that, is like kind of telling Burnham how to command here, because like as they're doing this, they were hitting him with like this massive cloud of methane, like frozen methane, which you think that their shields would be able to withstand, but nope. Even these 31st century shields are pretty susceptible to this. They were getting bombarded. They extend their shields around the whole space station, which they say is taking up even more power, and they can't hold out for very long. And so Burnham's like, "Well, I got to get into an EV suit, and I need to go over there because I'm the best EV suit pilot there ever was." And the president's like, "You can't do that." And she's like, "Are you questioning my command, Madam President?" And she's like, "Nope." Well, yes,
I agree with the president. In that scene, Burnham shouldn't have gone.
Burnham. That's kind of what the president talks to Burnham about later on in the scene, where she's like, "Well, if I was maybe going to offer you the Voyager command," and she's like, "Even if you offered me the Voyager command, I wouldn't." But she's like,
"Take it."
They're like, the Kobayashi Maru test is supposed to be like a test that teaches you how to deal with failure and how to deal with like the results of command decisions. And I was just like thinking, like, I don't understand why she's talking to the Federation president. Like, I would understand if it was an admiral that came along on this mission, but well, I didn't really get it.
And there's the second Kirk link in this episode.
Yes, she reminded me a lot during all of this of the Chris Pine Kirk again, when she was just like, no, I'm gonna go because I'm the best for it, and not following protocol at all.
Like
it reminded me that scene where Admiral Pike Admiral Pike was talking to him in the office and saying, you filed a false report, you could have got people killed, you were seen, blah blah blah, but I wasn't, so it's okay.
Yeah.
Right. That's kind of what she said. She's kind of like, despite having all that those years of training under Captain Georgiou, and then later, even under Pike briefly and whatever, and like how many times she was stripped down for being too impulsive, for going like not following the regulations and whatever. And she kind of doing the same thing, right? Like Burnham's going to burn them. And you're like, is she going to sort of mature into a way that's like as a captain that is going to be able to sort of accept no-win scenarios sometimes, right? Or is she just going to be a Kirk like captain, like the stubborn streak that just gets her into trouble, all the time? That I don't know. Like, Michael, how are you feeling about Burnham's overall development as a leader? I guess are you seeing that this is just going to be always Burnham's thing? I like trying to save everybody, even if it kills her.
It was interesting because she's not technically wrong, right? She's been mostly successful, maybe not at first, but then if you think about where she came from, right? Her decision in the past cost a lot, so she works harder to never ever lose anyone again if possible, right? And that is in her file, right? That past trauma is what's leading her to want to do this. I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing. I think the captainship for her is going to be learning the balance of exactly what the president was saying. That balance.
You got to learn your own limits. You got to learn to control things that you can and what you can't. Like, I don't know. I didn't feel like she was as Burnham as the previous seasons, but Burnham is still Burnham, and she's still gonna have to work. I mean, she's a new captain too. It's one thing to be at all the other positions, but a captain is different. And when Saru gets like presumably back, because we saw here, Sukal's like, you need to go to the stars. I don't know, like I don't know exactly understand where Saru's going to fit in, if he's going to come back and become her first officer, if they're going to, because he's also going to be a captain or hold the rank of captain. We saw that Kirk and Spock did that. They were both captains, but Kirk was the commanding officer and Spock was the executive officer. But like obviously, like the whole tug of war between those two, the brother-sister relationship, and when he's probably the only one of the crew that can talk to her, maybe Tilly a little bit, who's saying like, hey, stop being a martyr all the time, hey, you shouldn't leave the bridge in a crisis, whatever, etc. Like these things that she has to learn that she can't do. She can't always be the hero.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with that comment, and that would be a perfect role for Saru to come back into. So the executive officer, number one
voice
role.
of reason.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and he does know her very well, right?
He does. Well, yeah. No one really, like, if anybody, he's the most, right? I would say. Like here I'm just gonna pull this photo up quickly, because this is what he is going to apparently be wearing later on when he comes in, which appears to be
he has this extra thing on his black stripe there,
which we already saw today.
Yeah,
he had it on his like civilian clothes as well.
Yeah.
Maybe it's his honored elders, maybe it's his version of like Worf's Baldric sash.
It's the call out to the culture or something like that. So
yeah, but how he's going to fit into like the sort of the command structure of the ship. Also, but the one thing I do sort of also gripe is that why do only the first officer and the captain wear red? I think a few other officers should get to wear red too. But that's kind of always been the Discovery thing, is that only like the top two wear whatever command color is, versus like a third of the crew. Little nitpick. But just gotta point it out. Yeah, like I think that like Burnham's come a long way, and when I think about where this character started and where the character is now, there is this growth. Like obviously she got court-martialed and got her captain killed, and she got thrown into jail by the end of like the pilot, basically. She was even stripped by Saru in season 3 and like demoted and sent to, but then eventually given the captaincy here at the end. Let's fly. And so I think, I don't know. I'm conflicted. I have a lot of thoughts about it where I'm like, okay, Burnham, break out of your pattern and let's see you're different. And then on the other hand, I'm going, why is she talking to the president about this? This is weird. Mm-hmm. Why is this president?
The president's challenging her at every turn. I mean,
it's just
but has the president ever in any other Star Trek series ever had any kind of say over Starfleet matters?
Not like so specifically.
Not like this, right?
Not like this.
Like the president of the Federation is not making decisions on who is the captain of what ship.
This is the newly
Starfleet
restored
Command that does that.
I think the president would have, like, the president's the civilian oversight, and so I think that, and commander in chief as well. So I think that, it would normally not even be a matter of concern for the president, right? It's like we're talking, like I got middle management admirals to deal with all that.
But the other thing too is that it's pretty important work they're doing right now. So maybe picking the right captains is important.
I suppose, yeah.
As they're making first contact, for the first time in hundreds of years, right? So
yeah, there aren't as many ships as there was 100 or 800 years ago.
Micromanager.
Maybe you need a president who's a little bit more active.
Maybe like, hey, she got elected for a reason, so maybe this is what she ran on. She's like, I'm going to be in there talking to these captains. I'm going to be going on away missions. Commander-in-Chief. I'm going to be a commander-in-chief that's going to tell, Michael Burnham, hey, you need to smarten up. And everyone's like, yes, vote for her. And then, she got the job. Like this whole scene here at the end where she's talking to her, and like I was just like, okay, what is this relationship going to be? Is it like a mentorship? Is she grooming Burnham for something? What does she want from Burnham? Ultimately is what I'm most curious about. You know, is she a friend or foe? Is she someone we can trust? Who is there a big bad for this season or not? What is the plot of this season? I got so many questions.
Me
No
too.
answers.
And you know, Admiral Vance was that role last season.
Mhm.
Now he's a friend. He's a good friend. So
He got his family back. He's chill.
He's happy.
Yeah. He was like, yep. And then I don't know. Like, I don't know how. I hope he's in the show, but
I was going to say his story has advanced.
I see what you did there.
Okay.
Like how much Charles Vance are we going to see this season?
I think very limited.
Limited. Do you think it's the more we're going to get a lot more scenes with this president?
Yeah,
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's probably accurate. Because the episode really ends with those two. Well, actually, no, the episode really ends with this thing with Book, because Book he fled his planet there as it was sort of something was happening. He kind of called, like he was about to have dinner with his brother and nephew, and then everything went off, and then he catches up with Discovery. We have to go save it. Awashakan, it's like the planet's not there. It's not where it's supposed to be. And I get the impression that whatever hit the space station is also what hit the planet here.
Mm-hmm.
And there's some kind of connection. I guess that this dark matter that's threatening the universe, or it wasn't dark matter. It was just like frozen methane, right?
Yeah, but there was some sort of like this bubble thing that they saw when they zoomed in on the distress call. There was like that
The gravitational something distortion. Yeah.
And then you did see that coming at Book when he was in his ship and the planet, and then it knocked the planet like
It also killed a lot of birds.
hundreds of thousands.
Yeah,
of
those
kilometers.
birds. The birds had the things in their do you think it ties into what Adira was talking about with the minerals in their bones or something?
Maybe they were all going towards this thing and it killed them. It's
Yeah.
possible.
And we see what it did to the planet there.
Yeah.
I think you could upgrade that yellow alert to a red alert.
Yeah, agree.
It's not looking too good. And that's where the episode ends. It ends on this real kind of sad note. And like that's Sonequa Martin Green. She can cry on camera like no one else. I gotta tell you, she's got some.
Right from the Walking Dead days.
Yeah, that emotion she wears on her face. You're like, I was like, oh my god. Like she was like, oh no, Book, and Book. Oh, look at that face. That's a man.
Hey, man, he's the one with more tears kind of about to come. So there you go.
Yeah. I just can't take my eyes off those uniforms. They're so nice. All right.
I love them.
All right. So that's that was like the plot of the episode. I thought it was a pretty interesting opener, this one. I thought like a lot of things I liked. I think I liked it a lot more after talking to you guys about it. So I'm interested to maybe we can get into some ratings and see how much we like this from a quantifiable standpoint. Let's bring that in.
Can I just show you guys something? Do you remember this planet in TNG's opening?
Yes.
Yes.
I don't know why, but the planet blowing up kind of reminded me of this.
Yeah.
It's the effect that they chose to use.
Right. Sort of like with that glowing.
And that was like 30 some odd years ago now.
Yeah.
It actually was 34 or so. So let's so we got our ratings sheet here. Michael, you want to I'm giving this an 8 out of 10. I already rated it earlier after I watched it. Enough. That would be consistent with your with most of your ratings. Adam,
I'm gonna go with 8.5, please.
8.5. And actually, your first rating on Discovery.
I'm also a 9.
A 9 out of 10. So I'm the I'm the low point here this week. And here I'm just gonna and so yeah, and I went through earlier and went through my season 1 and 2 ratings, and so as you can see, I definitely enjoyed this 3rd season and 4th season. Well, so far.
Oh, Dave, I'm gonna have to rate season 2 to bring that up.
To bring it up?
Yeah.
Oh, all right. If you insist. Okay.
Who watched season 1? Is that all you, Dave?
Yeah, I'm the only one who has ratings on season 1. So if I can get your guys'
I'll give
ratings,
you ratings on season 1. I'm going to bring that up too.
yeah. Well, I don't know if you want to. I don't know if we want to do them all now. I can send you.
No. Send me the spreadsheet. We'll do it.
Yeah, and
Oh,
we'll
there's
get
a
that populated.
because I don't have episode by episode. I can give you a season rating.
Yeah, or you just want to give every episode in the season or the same rating.
I don't remember. No, I actually don't.
Um,
I have like a whole season rating for season 1. It's like I would say it's like maybe a 7.5, and then season 2 is a 6.
Really?
Okay.
Well, I loved how season 2 ended.
Ended, but then there's the rest of the season.
Yeah,
I just thought they're both weak. There were issues with control bothered the hell.
I just have to remind myself that this show started in September of 2017, right? So
Wow.
it's like it feels like a long time ago this started. And I was kind of going through today and looking back at like all the episodes from season 1 and who wrote them and how many people have kind of come and gone on this show from a writing standpoint. However, like there's been certain people, like certain directors, especially this Olatunde guy. Olatunde,
it's been around.
he's directed pretty much half of these episodes, at least, if not more, of Discovery. So he's been starting with the 4th episode. Yeah, so I can get you guys ratings plugged in here so we can get this a little bit more, because we've really only been doing the podcast consistently since season 3. So need to sort of like on and off in season 2 and 1. So anyway, so glad we got that. So that if you were listening on the audio version, the collective average tonight was at 8.6 out of 10, pretty good. When I checked earlier, it was only at a 6.2 on IMDb. But there's no accounting for taste. You know?
I don't care what.
I just use it as a guidepost to just kind of see what the public's saying. What are the kids saying?
If you go to Instagram, like all of the announcements, posts about and previews and everything about this season is just people continually complaining about Sonequa Martin Green's crying.
Yeah.
Literally, that's half the comments. And I'm just like, I can't take these people seriously.
Yeah, she's got to cry, man. She's got to cry on camera. It's what she does. You know, you got to get over it. That's Sonequa. That's like that's the Burnham move. That's the burn ham. Anyway, so the next episode, guys, is called Anomalies, or just Anomaly.
Anomalies, by definition, are strange.
That's right, Vulcan. So something an anomaly is presumably what they're going to be looking at. Pretty straightforward.
Probably the one that's causing all this damage.
I would assume so.
Yeah, probably this thing they have to. Whatever. This is the new crisis they have to solve. And here we go. So I'm excited. By the way, it was kind of bittersweet tonight because I did the Star Trek Prodigy podcast earlier with Jessica, Michael's wife, along with Davin Scalehorn, and I found out that tonight was the only night I have a night like that where I'm doing both in the same night because Prodigy is going to be off until January. So if you check out the first 5 episodes of Prodigy if you have not already, because
I'm waiting for my young niece and nephew to show up in my house to do it with them so I can get them into Star Trek. They're like 10 and 8 and 7 or something.
I think that's about the right age, and I think that it's very much geared exactly towards them. So
I think that will be a Christmas watch when they come for the holidays.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think that Picard won't start until I think Discovery's done, because I think that this is going to take us well into January as well for this first season. I think we're getting 13 episodes in total this year, guys.
Yeah, so we had 13 last season too, right? So 13, yeah.
Right. So last year we went from I guess we started in October and we finished in January.
New Year's Eve we finished.
Or New Year's Eve, yes. And then so we're starting now a month later. So I would imagine we're going to be going in. It looks like February 10th is when the last episode of the season will be.
Cool.
So there will be crossover once again with Prodigy, but just not tonight, because there was like when we did our fun facts earlier in Prodigy, it was like this is the first time since the DS9 episode Dogs of War aired the same night as Voyager's Equinox that 2 Star Trek shows have had their new episodes come out at the same day. That's a random piece of trivia for you. All right, so I'm glad
Oh, it was just a random question. If now that we're in the future, if all of you guys were in Starfleet, the new
Yes.
one, what position would you want to be? Like on a ship, on HQ, on a station?
Oh, I'd always want to be the captain of a ship myself. If that would be.
Yeah, I'd
job.
like to be on a ship too. I like the ups and downs and adrenaline you get from that kind of thing. I think rather than just staying at the office.
Yeah, I think ship 2. Likely science division.
How about you, Michael?
I as much as I've always wanted to be on a ship, I don't know, something about HQ. I want to see what that's like. Maybe operations.
Admiral Vance makes it look appealing. I'm like, I could do what Vance does. You just come and go. Yeah, you're not. Yeah, Burnham. Yeah, the president doesn't need your permission to go on the mission. Then he just walks off. Like that's all.
He do with his family.
If that's his job, I'm like, that's not a bad job. I could do that.
He was very stressed last season.
He was, and now it's
trying.
like relaxed.
Like, I was holding it all together. I'm trying to manage everything, and now he's like, whatever. We got so much dilithium. Who cares?
Hey, whatever happened to that guy who was, holding the fort down at that, Federation outpost?
Oh, that Hope Is You guy?
Yeah.
I hope he comes back.
He got an assignment somewhere. Yeah, like we'll see if he's back this season. Yeah, I liked him. Yeah, I can't remember his name right now, but he was fun. He's like, I have been waiting here for 50 years for someone to give me an order. I'm so glad you came. Why are you here?
Because we're the Federation. It's what we do.
That's right.
What we do.
Yeah. All right. Well, what else am I forgetting about? I think we could wrap it up, right? It's almost 11 something o'clock.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. We'll be back in a week. It was great talking to you guys all about this. I'm glad Discovery's back. Another season. Do you think we'll get a 5th season?
Yes.
Yes.
Well, Jody says no, but we're gonna see.
I only worry about the 5th season because of the moves they made, where they made it so that they took it off a bunch of streaming services, put it on Paramount Plus, and then they say they're going to release it internationally in January, not now, except in Canada where it's on Crave.
Yeah, there's a lot of controversy around that. Jaemeel was telling me about that. Yeah,
worries the heck out of me because a lot of people won't be able to watch it, and therefore they're probably going to pirate it, and then now they're not going to get their ratings.
Yeah, and this show looks pretty expensive.
Yeah.
Honestly,
I wanted to go to like 6 or 7 seasons, but with weird streaming moves like this.
Yeah.
I kind of just wish in some ways that we had started with season 3, where season 3 kind of, but it's because like the first 2 seasons, I'm like, oh, I feel like we wasted a lot of time there, but it's also it's like at least it's good now. But I would like to see this keep going for a while because so far I'm liking this. I'm excited for a new season. I'm excited for these new uniforms.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's all right. Well, okay. Just to plug everything else we have here on Live Long and Podcast Monday nights. Well, we just wrapped up our 79 episode series of Star Trek, the original series. Adam Woodward and I, along with Jody Simpson, my dad, Ted, sometimes others, including my brother, Ashley Millard was along for a lot of them as well. We had, who else was along? Karen Rondeau. We had a whole eclectic crew. Kevin was on a bunch of episodes, Kevin Millard. Anyway, so we covered every episode. I will be doing a reunion show eventually once we have just a minute to kind of get caught up and kind of break that all down. But we're going to be transitioning to a Star Trek Enterprise podcast,
Archer Space Dock.
Anyway, I got to get. What else am I going to get to play it? Anyway, so we're Kevin. Are you excited?
Of course.
He's very excited. And we're going to be breaking all of those down, starting with Broken Bow and all the episodes that came after of Star Trek Enterprise on Monday nights. On Tuesday nights, we continue our mission to watch Star Trek Deep Space Nine in order. We're into season 4. We just talked about Rules of Engagement, and we're moving on to Hard Time on this Tuesday. That's one where Brian ends up in the mental prison in his mind. That's going to be exciting. And of course, we've been covering Star Trek Prodigy for the last few weeks, as I mentioned, with Jessica Chan and Davin Skellhorn. Also did Star Trek Lower Decks earlier this year, the second season of Star Trek Lower Decks. That was really a great season. So much so that we are doing the return of Star Trek Radio Theater for this next, not this Saturday, right? It's next Saturday, the 27th of November. Control L. Full screen. Sorry, guys. So you and Jessica need to get caught up because this is the 9th episode of the second season. It is a really fun episode, and I'm literally looking forward to doing it. As I said earlier on the Prodigy podcast, imagine a cartoon, but with people who aren't the original voice actors and without the cartoon. That's what we're going to be doing.
Imagine
that. So it's gonna be
one day we're gonna get an actual person in Star Trek to be in this.
Yeah, we've at least gotten some people like Garrett Wong to actually listen in and stuff like that. So at least some of them. Yeah, so we've
Garrett, you want to actually join us?
Yeah,
come on, fellow Asian.
We also are doing Star Trek First Contact, the whole movie we're going to do in December. That's going to be on December 19th. Everyone here is going to be in that production. Michael's playing like 10,000 roles. So get ready for that, including the whole board collective. So he's got to find a lot of different inspiration. And also check out our other.
Okay, Michael, they all sound the same.
Yeah, you don't have to I need to be method. I have to think like every assimilated drone, and then how are they going to talk together?
You know what? I'm just going to drink a half a bottle of wine while I'm doing this.
Yeah, it's a good idea.
It's just all my voices will just get changed throughout the episode.
Start slurring.
Yeah, it's going to be great. And then we also have our other two channels. One's called Trivial Debates, a monthly show where we argue about movies, TV, sports, in like a game show kind of format with different rounds and arguments. Jody Simpson's going to be hosting the one for November. That's going to be on November 28th. We still guest contestants to be determined. I don't know who is in yet. And we also are going to be having Super Mater Brothers podcasting. That's our other channel where we talk about stuff that's not Star Trek related. We've been doing Survivor season 41 for the last 9 weeks. I do that with Jaemeel Robinson and Jeff Mater. We were on last night talking about the newest episode. If you like Survivor, check that out. We also talked about Big Brother over there, Marvel things like Eternals. We did a whole review of that and the different Marvel things that have come out since 2021. We're going to be looking to maybe do Tiger King season 2. Got to get going on that now because we did the original Tiger King way back when.
I saw the trailer for that last night. I was like, oh boy,
it's out now. It's happening.
Kevin and I watched the first episode.
Yeah, was it just as good?
No,
yeah.
I don't think it's good. I don't think it's going to be as much crazy because it's only since the last one came out.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm interested. I'm interested to catch up. I think it's gonna be more. I don't know. We'll see. Tiger King. It's like a Super Mario Brothers tradition.
Yeah.
Of once we did it, so maybe twice now. And also, as I mentioned, Davin, who did the Star Trek Prodigy podcast, he's also on our Deep Space Nine podcast on Tuesdays. He's going to be doing the radio theater with us next week. He's a cousin of mine. He has his own Star Trek podcast called Locutors of Trek. I'm going to be on that on Sunday. I'm going to be doing a writer's room pitch. We're going to be pitching ideas for a hypothetical Star Trek show. And I got a few different stories. So check out his channel, Locutors of Trek. And also check out my son's podcast. It's called Let's Talk About Fighting Games with Eamon Mater. You can find that on Spotify or wherever you find your audio podcasts. And any final words or thoughts for guys before we sign off?
Good to be back.
Good to be back. Here we go. It's a late one.
Very good to be back.
Did everyone else, before I forget about this, did everyone else see Morn's great grandson?
Yes.
He was on stage.
What is that species called?
His chatty.
Yeah, Morn species. I gotta look that up because they like I never remember the name of it.
Is there a name for them?
Yeah, there is. They are called. Of course, the internet goes so slow on this site. See, no dead air. I just kind of do some. They're called Lurians.
Okay.
Anyway.
Well, we have one.
All right. Let's sign off with some something from Burnham. Oh yeah, here we go. Live long and podcast. Thank you, Adam. Thank you, Michael. Thanks, Ashley. And we'll be back in a week to talk about Anomaly.
It's what we
Because
do.
we're the Federation. It's what we do.